Good day. Today we will going to discuss another foundations of the curriculum, the Sociological Foundation. But before we go to our discussion, let us first know our class objectives. So at the end of the discussion, you will be able to discuss how the different foundations of curriculum have shaped the current conceptions in curriculum. Lastly, of course, you will be able to gather information on how a school develops its curriculum to enrich the teaching practice. So as we go to our discussion for today, you will be able to know first about the society, education, and schooling. Next, we also have the social change and the curriculum. And lastly, we will be also tackle about the planning for curricular change. So this learning packet will discuss the sociological foundations of curriculum. So our discussion will help you to better understand your role in the society or in your community as a learner and as an individual with regards to the curriculum you are or we have inside the school. So, in sociological foundations of the curriculum, in here, the curriculum designers must consider the social settings in general and the relationships between the school and the society in particular. So, one of the major roles of schools is to serve specific social needs, including the transmission of culture for the growth of the learners and society. And schools are considered as an integral part of the society. Therefore, the education and learning that it may bring is also about the transmission of one's culture. So it is the reason why curriculum designers must consider the social settings and the relationships between school and society. Always remember that society can impact the curriculum and schools can help shape and mold the society through their teaching or the execution of the curriculum. Furthermore, curriculum planners also need to assess the influence these social factors have on curricular decisions. Curricular decisions take place in complex social settings through the demands that are imposed by society and also have a direct bearing on schools. So curriculum planners should consider how these social factors, for example, the social setting, the society as a whole, and the school itself, that can influence the curricular decisions. So these curricular decisions take place in various social settings and may also have significance on schools. So if you are going to observe, people nowadays are very vocal in sharing their views and opinions on what is going on in their schools, considering that there is a rapid advancements in information and communication technology. People can easily communicate and express their views across the globe. They are able to see other school systems and would like, in most of the time, they would like to know more about it and be able to apply some of these practices in their own school. So these are only some of the demands that are imposed by the society. Also, curriculum workers need to consider and use social foundations to develop the capacity to respond intelligently to social problems. So therefore, the people involved in planning and designing the curriculum needs to consider and use social foundations to respond to social problems. So the characteristics of contemporary society and those that may emerge in the future must be considered. It could answer the questions: what are some of the demands of society with regards to curriculum? How the needs of society were considered when developing a curriculum, or what are these needs? So upon saying that, let us now move on the society, education, and schooling. So the social world of children and youth cannot be ignored because they do live in a world larger than school, which influences their interests and attitudes. So the world of the children and youth are not enclosed inside the school. Their interests and attitudes will greatly influence how they live outside the school. So for these reasons, the school is putting greater efforts to help and guide both children and youths to adapt and prepare for life in a larger society. So the education received by these young people determines the kind or quality of our society. As what I have said earlier, society can impact the curriculum. So through education, a society's culture is transmitted and maintained for the next generation. So according to Dewey, education is a primary responsibility of educators to be aware of the general principle of the shaping of actual experiencing by environing conditions and to understand what surroundings are conducive to having experiences that lead to growth. So I just wanted to clarify that most of the time, the terms education and schooling are considered synonymous, right? But in reality, a society that has no formal schools can still educate young people. It can be through the child's observation, stories from other people, imitation of their parents, elders, and the like. In here, we emphasize that education is a primary responsibility of educators. I think it can be applied not only inside the school, for them to know and understand how they can provide a conducive learning environment for the students to have better learning experiences that lead to growth. If you can recall our discussion about the nature and concepts of curriculum, one of the eminent personalities that greatly contribute in defining curriculum is John Dewey. So he stressed out that curriculum should bring a sense of the world where the students live, specifically, of course, in the society. So learning by doing and development of essential skills is crucial for the students. So the dynamics of change also should have a curriculum which reflects contemporary social forces, and this entails not only reflecting society but helping to shape the curriculum. So in line with this, a curriculum that reflects contemporary social forces, for example, the demands of the society, the social setting, the school, the people's various concepts of culture, social pressures, etc., should be able to respond to the dynamics of change. So these changes can be both impacted by, can both impact the curriculum and as well as the society. So now, let us now move on the social change and the curriculum. So today's culture changes so rapidly that we face challenges, adapt to the present, and plan for the future. So changes are coming rapidly. We face challenges, adapt to the present, and then plan for the future. So the demands imposed by the society in various aspects such as the culture and curriculum, etc., are much notable. So here are the factors to be considered in order to enable education to respond, adapt, and plan to social changes. First, we have the growth of technology. Next, we have the structure of the family. And lastly, we have the cultural diversity. So for the discussion about the growth of technology, today in a world that is very different from a century or two ago, young people are born. It is due to the fact that our business is a knowledge society. So we are now in the 21st century. So majority of the people, especially the children and youths, are knowledgeable in technology. So our society are aware of this rapid growth of technology. The emerging knowledge environment will affect all other facets of the workforce as well as the development of different types of jobs. So, however, this rapid technological advancements can affect all other aspects of the workforce and also the development of various types of jobs. So instead of using manual workers, communities often use computers, machines, and other information processing tools. So since there are also communications technology available, they can choose to work with their microcomputers simply at home. Nowadays, people who are willing to network their skills to adapt with these changes will be more given greater priorities and importance. And now, many people are experiencing difficulties in finding jobs not only because of the lack of the required skills, but also they have been replaced by technology. Next, we have the structures of family. The family was seen as the cornerstone of the social complexity. Family was seen as the mainstay of the social complexity since its focus is about the analysis of society. Family is considered as the basic unit of the society, but then the picture of a family that consists of both parents and children is now declining. Family systems has become much more complicated across the time. So the trend of sole parent families was caused by separation, divorce, and abortion without marriage. The connection of the geographically rooted, the extended families of grandparents, aunts, uncles, and others weakens geographical mobility. For example, as what have been stated here in my presentation, the trend of sole parent families was caused by separation, divorce, and abortion without marriage. So, the complexity of family systems and the connections of the geographically rooted, for example, the grandparents, the aunts, uncles, etc., tend to weaken geographical mobility. Moreover, we are now seeing more families working with both fathers and mothers. We are no longer in the era of mother being the controller of their home when men used to go to work, right? We are no longer in that kind of era. So how does this influence educational institution? In the sense of a typical family system, the school as we know has grown. So when the family structure has changed, so is the role and purpose of the school. Our lives, in other words, in a typical family system, we are historically concentrated on common social traits and even conformity, in which the fathers were supposed to work. The mothers usually control their homes and provide their children with a safe environment at home, and the children or the youth as being responsible to go to school and learn. So, when the kids have challenges or difficulties inside the school, parents are expected to spare their time, efforts, and money to address their child's needs, as well as in promoting the school ideals in giving them proper and quality education. The new wave of individualism and diversity affects the school or the college among several institutions. So in curriculum planning, this new trend in life patterns and values raises serious questions. So nowadays, the trend of individualism and diversity greatly affects the schools and the colleges. They are considered as the key sources of common values for the young people. And then, people often are searching for more varying forms of life, new direction, or alternate routes for surviving. So for these reasons, it is a great challenge for all the workers in curriculum planning to address serious questions about these issues. Lastly, we have the cultural diversity. So, from a homogeneous culture, we are now open for a more diversified culture or plurality. So, as we are moving away from a melting pot society to a salad bowl one, the increasing trend away from a homogeneous culture towards one of diversity or plurality is quite conspicuous. So this shift of movement can be attributed to the following phenomena. So this increasing trend about cultural diversity can be chalked up to the following phenomena. First, the diversity in values and lifestyles. It is being different is now a socially sanctioned area, meaning being socially different is now accepted by many. Next, because of the renewed interest in ethnohistory, people have developed a new interest in their own histories and personal heritage. So they have new interest in their own histories or their ancestors or their heritage. Lastly, development in telecommunication. So they are the people are linked either biographically or not with others cultures. Thus, it is indeed a challenge how the curriculum will adapt and reflect these cultural values in the current diversity trend. So for the last topic, let us now move on to the planning for curricular change. So the primary aim of education was considered in the early 20th century to explain this, but radical educationalists in the second and third decades of the century focused on expanding the scope of the solely academic school curriculum, integrating concepts from outside the classroom and from the technical sector into the curriculum. So socio-educational changes brought revolutionary educationalists to focus on expanding the scope of curriculum, integrating various concepts from outside the classroom and from the other sectors into the curriculum. So with the evolving social needs, educational goals should be flexible. So it is important for the curriculum to meet the needs of the learners and as well as the society. So if the curriculum aims to supply survival skills, then the program should also provide other alternative means of survival. So it is like looking at the two sides of the coin. So to ensure a socially relevant curriculum, so the people involved in formulating educational priorities should include the following representative groups into consideration. First, we have the students. So it could be useful if the inputs will come from the post-secondary students since they are mature enough and have a lot of experience. Next, we have the parents. Parental inputs are crucial in creating educational priorities since they are the most involved and interested in the overall development of their children. Third, we have the educators. So this involves the teachers, administrators, and public leaders that are expected to be proficient or expert in developing educational aims. Next, we also have the researchers. So the voice of the researchers are also crucial in providing objective data, trends, and issues that could be useful for questioning and for further discussion. Next, we also have the community members. So all the people, for example, the staff members, other stakeholders, etc., that were involved in the well-being of the school should be considered also as they decide for other academic and fiscal matters. We also have the business community. Since the people from business community has its greater economical or political influence and interest in the outcomes of educational enterprise, so their inputs could be useful. So the collaboration of business and education can improve education in holistic perspective, specifically in developing workforce or the human resource, right? Next, we also have the political officials. So basically, they are involved because we all know that both government and educational sectors are the ones who lead and implement educational policies. Lastly, we also have the pressure groups. So they could be the local residents or organization who has the same concerns or on educational interests. So the concern about this the concern about the educational priorities needs to be versatile as long as there is a diverse society. So the curriculum does not only reflects a society's culture, but will also continue to look for the social developments in order for them to provide learners better learning experiences and prepare them for engaging in a larger world. So that ends our discussion about the sociological foundations of curriculum. I hope you learn something from me. Goodbye.